AMD acquires a company that, it's funny, I want to call it Node.AI, but it's
I did the same
Nod.AI.
thing. I literally I was calling it Node for like 30 minutes talking to a journalist about it. I'm like, it's not Nod. And they're like, I think it's Nod. I'm like, oh,
I know I affiliate nodding with nodding off or sleeping or something like
yeah.
that.
I guess we'll give a nod to what AMD is doing
There,
today. How about
Dan,
that?
you get one a day, okay?
Yeah. By the way, you can't spell AI without Nod AI.
Uh,
That's not
not
as good.
good.
That's not as good as
No,
Aviator. All right.
no.
So, look, there are lots of startups, and you're seeing AMD is taking a build buy partner approach to growing its AI capabilities. Last week we saw some very interesting announcements with Lamini. This week it was not AI, not a it was they're not a household name. I had not heard much about them before. But having
Wait a
said that,
second. Is there a possibility this is not AI?
it's
We're not
it's
even saying it. We're not even saying this correctly.
it's not. There's no
Okay.
way. But look, um, there's kind of a few different schools of thought about building the future of generative and AI capabilities. One is closed architectures. One is open source. We know that in the NVIDIA world, it's built a huge vacuum and vortex of growth around CUDA and around the ability for you to really build your AI future on its software and not moving away from it. For AMD with ROCm, with its whole approach, it's the x86 of the future, which is going to be all about open source. So I think the company is continuing to make investments here and wants to show through both partnerships and building, and then of course its strategy that it's wants to have a more complete offering. It wants to be able to compete. We've seen that it takes some time, and so I think that's what you really got here. You know, this is an augmentation of their capabilities. It's a company that has made, their Shark is their sort of well-known platform. It's all open source. They are all about optimization of model, and they've not only been optimizing for AMD, but they've been optimizing historically for others, like including Intel. Um, this is a company that kind of went from hardware and actually over time um, grew into this particular space of software optimization. As far as I see it, Pat, there's kind of this whole continuum for companies like AMD where it's first you're going to make the hardware, so you know what they're doing with MI and their series. Second of all, you have to make software. Well, there's a lot of open source AI software. We hear like companies like Meta is very focused on open source. That's why they've been all about PyTorch and in building their future and Palm and or that's Google Llama. But what AMD needs to do is make sure that LLMs and these different foundational models run better on AMD than on anything else. And so this kind of acquisition is about how do you basically optimize the software for the hardware so that people that choose to build an AMD, choose to build on AMD's open source platform also get the best experience. So to me, it's a nice tuck in. This is not something that, it wasn't on a size deal. I don't even think a number was mentioned in terms of how big it was. I think it was a gathering of IP, of highly capable professionals. And then, of course, a story that says AMD is committed to building software that runs better on its hardware than any other hardware in the marketplace. And it's an important move, but time will still tell if AMD can garner market share from NVIDIA, which is something I think we'd all like to see because we all want to see competition.
Yeah, I see this as an acqui-hire, right? Um,
I still want
I
to
don't.
acquire you.
Yeah, you can. Just takes a Birkin bag full of money on my front porch. But anyways, this judging by the picture that Lisa Su took. Now I know maybe all the employees weren't there, but yeah, this looks like an acqui-hire. Some really smart people, and it's very focused, right? There's essentially three different ways to do AI, machine learning. One of them is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and then there is what Nod.AI does, which is reinforcement learning. And what reinforcement learning is it's an AI where you don't have to give it perfect data. It essentially learns on its own from, you don't have to do special tagging and stuff like that. And my guess is that AMD wants to build out certain libraries for certain types of AI, and here we go. And this is just yet another affirmation that AMD is getting serious about AI for the data center.